Now let's begin part 1 of today's lesson. First, let's talk about main verbs. All clauses must have a main verb. The form of the main verb changes depending on the time. This is called verb tense. For example, every morning I walk my son to the bus stop. This morning I walked my son to the bus stop. Right now, Kayla is walking her brother to the bus stop. In each of these sentences, the main verb is walk, but the form is different because the time is different. The main verb sometimes comes after a helping verb. The helping verb main verb combination is called the verb phrase. The verb phrase does not include the word not or other adverbs. Now, the number of clauses in a sentence is equal to the number of main verbs in the sentence. The following sentences each have 3 main verbs, so they each have 3 clauses. I wanted to hang out with my friends, but I caught a cold, so I stayed home all weekend. 3 main verbs, 3 clauses. Yuko is very angry at her husband because he forgot that yesterday was their anniversary. 3 main verbs, 3 clauses. Now let's talk about subjects and objects. The subject is the noun or pronoun that tells you who or what does the action. The subject comes before the main verb, and the object is the noun or pronoun that comes immediately after the main verb. The subject and object do not include adjectives and other words connected to the noun. Only the noun is the subject or object. For example, my parents have 2 dogs. Parents have dogs. My and to are connected, but not a part of the subject or object. Next Friday, everyone will receive their winter bonus. Subject, everyone. Verb phrase, will receive. Object, bonus. Chris shouldn't have quit his job so suddenly. Subject, Chris. Verb, should have quit. Notice that not is not a part of the main verb or the verb phrase. And finally, job is the object. Now, what are compound subjects and objects? A compound subject is when the subject of a main verb has 2 nouns or pronouns that are connected by and or. Australia and New Zealand have very similar flags. There's one verb, have, but it has a compound subject, Australia and New Zealand. New England and Dallas have both won 5 Super Bowls. Again, one verb, have, 2 subjects, compound subject, New England and Dallas. Still, both of these sentences have only one clause because they have only one main verb. A compound object is when the object of the main verb has 2 nouns or pronouns that are connected by and or. Americans celebrate Independence Day in July and Thanksgiving in November. Notice that there's one verb, celebrate, with two objects, Independence Day and Thanksgiving. At the wedding, they will serve chicken, beef, and pasta for vegetarians. So you have one verb, serve, three objects connected by and. But once again, both of these sentences have only one clause because there's only one main verb. Now, what about compound verbs? A compound verb is when there are two main verbs connected by and or or. The two verbs share the same subject, which is written only once. Because there are two main verbs, a compound verb is counted as two clauses. My parents bought a new car and gave their old one to me. The compound verb is bought and gave, and they both have the same subject, parents. We lost the first two games, but then won the next 7 games. We lost, but we won. A compound verb can also share helping verbs and objects. Shared helping verbs go before the first main verb. Shared objects go after the second main verb. So let's look at this sentence. I can speak and understand Japanese fluently, but I can't read or write kanji. Well, this sentence has 4 main verbs, so there are 4 clauses. Each pair of verbs, main verbs, shares the helping verb can speak and understand, can read or write. Now, even though this sentence has 4 main verbs, there is only one subject, which is shared by all 4 verbs. And each pair of verbs, speak and understand, read or write, shares an object. Speak and understand Japanese, read or write kanji. So it's kind of a wild sentence with 4 verbs sharing a bunch of stuff. So let's take a closer look at it. So again, here we have the same sentence. I can speak and understand Japanese fluently, but can't read or write kanji. The verbs are the base. So speak, understand, read, write. And they are connected by the conjunctions and, but, or. Now the first set of verbs shares the helping verb can, and the second set shares the helping verb can't. Well, can plus not. Again, there's only one subject that is being shared by all 4 verbs. And each verb pair has one object. So again, this looks really crazy. But end of the day, it's still just 4 clauses. I can speak Japanese. I can understand Japanese. I cannot read kanji. I cannot write kanji. But the rules of parallel structure let you boil it down to as few words as possible. And that is it for part 1 of today's lesson.